everyone in the lift line, because if a bill has its way, they're going to be able to pack some heat. Also, talking about drinking mad chloride to cop a buzz and school vouchers, all on Summit Speak Out.
This is Summit Speak Out on RSN with your host, Biff America.
Welcome back to Summit Speak Out. My name is Biff. Some people call me an albino Norm Crosby. Others call me a pistol-packing liberal. On the panel with me from the Green Party, all the way from the left, Doug Malkan, and all the way from the right, the Communications Department of the State Republicans, Senate Republicans, Kelly Hart. Excuse me for butchering that introduction. And God from all over the place is Jim Just, columnist for the Summit Times and the owner of Mountain Java. Two gun bills before the Senate as we speak. Both of them will make it easier in some counties, maybe not Summit, but some counties, to carry a concealed handgun. Chober, the Republican from Leadville, is one of the sponsors of it. Kelly, give us the cliff notes on these two bills and what your take on them is.
All right. Cliff notes, Senate Bill 25 by Senator Jim Dyer out of Arapahoe County. Basically, in the context of the sale, purchase, or possession of handguns, local laws, whether county or city, cannot be more restrictive than state or federal law, with a couple exceptions, open carry being one of those exceptions.
Right.
That passed the Senate 1816. The other bill, Senate Bill 24 by Senator Ken Clover out of Leadville, like you said, is a concealed carry bill, which would turn Colorado into a shall issue state. If you pass a background check,
right,
have some sort of formal education, et cetera, you shall be issued a concealed carry permit.
Now, both of these bills are going to make it easier in some counties to have a handgun. I talked to Joe Morales yesterday, and actually he's in favor of Clover's bill. In Summit County, it's not as restrictive as others. But Jim Just, I mean, do you think that the local sheriff should have, or the local community, the city council in a municipality, have right to make it a more restrictive gun carry zone than the state?
Boy, I would sure hope so. I think some people have said that you are what you eat. I think in Senator Clover's case, it might be a matter of you are what you wear. That, Kelly, I think you could speak to this. Perhaps it's a case where all these years with Senator Clover running around wearing these cowboy shirts, it's finally gotten to him.
Thinks he's wired up?
He might even be worse than that. He could be Ned Buntline.
So
it just, I can't understand this. I've heard him say that if everybody is packing a gun, that means that the criminals are going to have to watch out. I don't understand this. There's been study after study after study that indicates that the people who get hurt are kids who are looking through the nightstand. It just makes no sense to me. More guns does not mean more safety. It means more innocent people getting killed by their own guns.
Well, you know, I love it, the fact that I'd love to have more restrictive gun laws, because that means I'm the only one that has a gun. But the deal is, Doug Malcolm, I mean, I'm afraid that not the responsible mom and pop, but there is also the what Jim just said. You know, the responsible mom and pop that has a handgun and the kid gets to it. I'm afraid the nut that doesn't have a police record, who doesn't tip my wife, she chases him out and says, "Hey, you dirtball," and he pops a cap into him. Where's the Green Party stand on guns?
That's right. Well, of course we're for gun control.
Yeah.
But what we're going to do is the state is going to strip local communities of their right to use discretion. And so here's someone who doesn't have a criminal record, but he's an obvious danger to society, and we're going to have to let him carry a gun, a loaded gun, around with him in public places. People are going to have loaded guns in their cars.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we're going to have road rage with guns. I mean, I don't see how this is making us safer.
Now, in balance, Kelly, tell the naked man clause.
All right, the naked man clause basically says if you're in that job, the sheriff has the discretion not to issue you a permit.
Right. But also, what these bills are is going to take it away from the chiefs and put it to the sheriffs. That's the one thing.
So this goes to the sheriff. Let me make a few points. One, with all due respect, Jim, I don't think a concealed carry permit bill is going to mean more guns. People already have guns, and this bill has nothing to do with having a gun in your nightstand next to your bed where your child can find it. This bill only has to do with carrying a gun concealed. And that's it. I don't think that if this bill passes, we're going to have a plethora of guns sales because this law passes.
But more people carrying guns if this bill passes.
Possibly.
We'll all be packing heat after this bill passes.
Well, good for you.
All right. That's
Come on.
classic. That's classic. All right, let's move on. Let's move on. You know, when you now one of the bills, and certainly now we know airline pilots can carry guns. That's one of the bills that's before the federal judicial system. Now there's going to be some senators nationally have even suggested teachers should be able to pack heat to keep the Kleballs and the Harrises in line. School vouchers. If you don't study, God will hate you. School vouchers at the House and Senate each have passed a scholarship bill that I like to call a voucher bill. Kelly, I'm guessing you would disagree.
It's semantics. You can call it whatever you want.
What is it then?
To give the Cliff Notes again,
Yeah.
essentially they accomplish the same thing. The difference between the two bills is in the details. But what it is for qualified students, namely low-income failing students in failing schools, you can get a voucher if you qualify to attend a participating non-public school, aka a private school. It would be a certain percentage of the per pupil operating costs of that student. You apply, you get the scholarship, you can go to school of your choice.
Okay, two questions. One, would it just be for poor students, or could it be for some nut job, born-again, survivalist schools? Second thing, the fact that we're putting money into vouchers is going to drop our property taxes to support the school system?
Under these two bills, it's only for the low-income failing students
Okay.
in failing schools,
Okay.
as of right now.
Okay. Now, Jim Just, public school graduate, any take on this? Is this going to change anything in Summit County?
I was handicapped by 12 years of Catholic education.
You still feel
were
guilty
you.
about it?
I do. I get together with a support group every other week, and we
Yeah.
talk about all of this. I think that this kind of a system is probably a good thing. The kinds of studies that have been done indicate that students will benefit from being able to choose where they can go, what they can do. In point of fact, other than the right-wing nut job kinds of schools, those are probably where you went to school, Boston, right? So we don't want any of those, and I think that one of these days we may have to take advantage of the fact that the opportunity to go to a private school for a child whose parents or family cannot in any way, shape, or form come to afford it ought to be provided. If you look even within our own school district, and we certainly have a fine district here,
Yeah.
but a couple of the school board members have opted to send their
Sure.
kids to private
Well,
schools.
you know what, then why don't we just fix the schools? Why can't we have public schools and we throw enough money at the problem? It seems like the teachers are the whipping boys and girls nationally and locally of Owens, of Bush. Why don't we spend enough money in the school? Why can't we just improve the school system, Doug Malkan?
Right. I mean, what we're going to end up with in vouchers is we're going to end up with some kids going to a Walmart school, no offense to Walmart.
Right.
Some kids going to the Saks Fifth Avenue school. Now this voucher won't pay for Saks Fifth Avenue school. It'll pay a little portion, so if you're rich, great, you get a little subsidy. But if you're poor, you're not going to go to the best schools under vouchers.
Yeah, well, you know, as I said, money doesn't talk, it swears. Kelly, last word.
I think Doug's pointing out an extreme case. The bottom line is if you get, say, I think one of these caps at $4,200, if you're in a failing school and you're not doing well and your CSAP scores are low, why can't we try to help these kids get out of those failing schools? And not every school is a Saks Fifth Avenue school. Yet at the same time, we don't want everybody to be stuck in the Walmart.
Well, it seems that the party wasn't as concerned about bilingual education as they are about helping the poor people get out of the public schools. I think, you know, it's our public school system. We're putting money into it. Let's make that thing work. And then the rest of us won't have to suffer a Catholic education like Jim and I, and that's why we're where we are. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back. A couple things I want to talk about. I'm going to pass it to Kelly. Governor Owens has used tobacco settlements to ballot the state budget. I don't know about that. Also, mag chloride. Tom Norton from CDOT sucked down some mag chloride. And it wasn't even at a Grateful Dead concert. So, talking about that, so don't go away. Watch the Summit Speak Out.
For 28 years, Jim Hudson Chevrolet has been helping you, our customers, find the vehicles you've been looking for. And because we offer the longest lasting, most dependable vehicles on the road, our job is a little easier. Come in and discover our easy financing on the latest trucks and SUVs to fit your mountain lifestyle.
It's amazing that the DEA has gone around with indictments for internet companies that sell bongs, and on the other side, our government subsidizes, certainly with tax breaks and by not taxing the tobacco industry. Governor Owens has been reported has used tobacco settlements to ballot the state budget. Now, on the surface, that makes sense to me, except where is that money? Has it gone in before that, Kelly? And is this unusual?
First of all, I don't know. Whatever Owens proposes still has to be passed by the General Assembly.
Right.
I don't know where they are with that. Second of all, we're balancing the budget any way we possibly can at this point. So
How about
it's just one of many cases.
How about get all you Republicans down there to increase taxes?
Two problems with that. One, it has to go to a vote of the people under Tabor. And
Right.
two, it's not going to be till November, so it's not going to help anyway, because we need solutions right now.
Yeah. Well, you know, the deal is huge money coming from the tobacco industry, but huge money going to the tobacco industry. Oh, I mean, Jim Jess, should we tax tobacco higher? Make it more prohibitive for the little yard apes to suck on a Camel straight?
I'm biased because I don't smoke, and I think, first of all, let me go back and reiterate what Kelly said, that you can't just hang this on the governor, and you can't just hang it on the Republicans.
That's my show.
As I said, Governor Owens is obviously making a mess out of everything that he touches.
Okay, no, you can't hang it on there.
But the legislature's going to have to go through this, and it's pretty much a nonpartisan matter. I think it's a shame that the money that is supposed to be coming in from the tobacco settlement is supposed to be going to smoking programs and generally trying to do something to enhance people's health. And it would seem to me that that ought to be one of the last things that's touched. So as Kelly says, that anything and everything is fair game in terms of balancing the budget, but it certainly seems to me that we got to this tobacco money a lot sooner than we should have.
Doug Malcolm, are we, from the Green Party, are we doing enough to keep people, to educate people in smoking, to keep young people from smoking, or are we bending over to the tobacco industry, allowing them to have billboards, allowing them to sponsor these events, which pretty much target the impressionable?
Well, Colorado gets about $100 million a year from the tobacco settlement every year. So far, the legislature has taken 85% of that and spent it on other things. Like Jim just said, there was an intent on the settlement. It was supposed to be used for a specific purpose. So we're down to $15 million that's going into tobacco cessation and prevention programs. Now they want to take the remaining balance, so none of the tobacco money goes to where it was supposed to go.
Kelly, should we just outlaw, how about we just eliminate the middleman and sell phlegm directly? Let's talk a little bit about mag chloride. You know what, when I want to cop a buzz before I do some dancing, I go, I lick I-70. Now, the Summit, much of the Summit County government has asked CDOT to stop using mag chloride. There's fear that it pollutes, kills flora and fauna, and also ruins our vehicles. So far, CDOT has turned a deaf ear to this. So what are we going to have to do to keep our roads in the conditions that we want them to be? And shouldn't people just be more responsible driving? You have better vehicles and tires.
They should. I mean, we live at 9,000 feet. We live in a ski area. We're going to have snow on the road. Now they want to have no snow on the road at all. But what they're doing, they're mixing arsenic in with the mag chloride. That's going into our rivers. It's killing the fish in the rivers. We're drinking that. CDOT doesn't care about that. That's not their department.
Yeah. But now Tom Norton from CDOT just sucked down a mag chloride cocktail in a public forum. And supposedly after doing that, he likes his show. Jim Just, what's your feeling on this? I know you're a local control type guy.
I always thought mag wheels were supposed to be cool.
Yeah,
I don't see where the problem is here. So, I have to agree with Doug. I think all you have to do is just simply look at the corridors. You can see it along I-70. Eagle County has indicated that they don't want to do this either. You can see irrefutably what's happening to the forest along either side. So it is something that I would hope that the state would at least be willing to take a look at.
Yeah. Kelly Harp.
I'm somewhat indifferent on the matter. I just play devil's advocate.
I've seen your car. I don't blame you. When your Chevy gets crashed.
It's not nice. I mean, just from the CDOT website, so take this with a grain of salt.
Right. Get it?
No pun intended.
Okay.
Such accidents related to ice and snow, etc. 76% reduction on I-70 west of Glenwood Street.
With smart chloride.
53% reduction in the Vail area on I-70 with the mag chloride, and in a 3-year study, mag chloride does not significantly harm aquatic or plant life. In fact, the sand salt mixture used in the past could be more damaging to the environment.
Yeah,
So there you
they
go.
say that sand causes the brown cloud. The bottom line is, I am ticked off at CDOT. I know the plow drivers, the people that work the front lines, they do a great job, but the bureaucracy of CDOT, that debacle on Highway 9, I just think it's heavy bureaucratic, and it drives me nuts to see these guys probably making $20 an hour, standing on the side of the road, breastfeeding a shovel. In God, should I take a break or what?
You don't have a concealed weapon with you.
In God, what's that?
You don't have a concealed weapon with
No,
you.
I don't.
You're getting a little worked up.
In God we trust. Here's the deal. That's going to fix everything. I talked to my friend who lives in Europe, and I'm saying, this Suffolk County is a family resort. Oh, we have family entertainment. And he goes, you know what? You Americans are so obsessed with the family because you have absolutely no family values. You talk about family. We want to promote family values. The same politicians that talk about family values never see their kids. Same thing with the spirituality. We wear our spirituality on our shirt sleeves, and now Senate Bill 1128 will make it mandatory to display "In God We Trust," the motto "In God We Trust" in every public school building. What's the deal with that? If they believe so much in God We Trust, then they should celebrate at a funeral rather than going over there and wanting to kill those wacky Iraqis. Am I crazy?
Yes, but what's the question?
What do you guys think about this? The state House of Representatives is trying to make it mandatory to put "In God We Trust" in every school building. Forgive my pontificating. You agree with that, mister?
No, I don't. I think separation of church and state is such that we should not be looking at those kinds of slogans no matter what. It's on our money. I think in that regard we've probably gone far enough. The interference as far as what we do in terms of making things mandatory to put up in schools, I think this takes it a step over the line.
One side, the Bible says the love of money is the root of all evil, and then you Republicans, Kelly, put "In God We Trust" on our currency. What's your stance on this? What's the party line? I'm going to ask your opinion.
I think the party line stance is it's revenue neutral, which at this time
That costs
is
anything.
pretty big.
Revenue means it doesn't cost anything.
Correct.
Right?
Revenue
Okay.
neutral won't cost anything. I think the stand is that God can be taken in as any deity or any supreme being, so children can interpret it how they want, and it's not going to harm anything. And if it, reinstates the faith or patriotism of some students, then that's the goal.
How about Thor? In Thor we trust. Because God knows, after skiing all this powder this week, I am wicked Thor in the thighs. We're going to take a quick break and watch something to speak up. Quick hits are coming up next. Don't go away. Welcome back to Summit Speak. I want to introduce my panelists from the Green Party, Doug Malkan, that's a plastic gun, from the Republican Party, the State Senate Republican Communications Department, Kelly Hart, and from the Summit Times, out every Wednesday, also the proprietor of Mount Java, where they're having a gala soiree, March 3rd, open mic on Sunday.
March 2nd, Sunday.
Sunday. Is that Monday? No, March 2nd probably,
Right.
Sunday. Anyway, on Sunday, John Crowder is going to be doing the entertaining initially, and then opening the mic up for drum circles, poetry reading. I'm going to read a little ditty about the man from Nantucket. This is Quick Hits. 90 seconds to pontificate. We'll start with Jim and Joss. Jim, like many people in our life, you spend a fair amount of time watching C-SPAN. Now, the beauty of that, you can actually see the political event, the meeting, the speech occurring, and then an hour or two later, you can read the interpretation by the conservative media, like Fox. Now, in your experience, do we, the media, other than this show, which we know is totally accurate, do we, the media, give an honest interpretation of the events?
Most of the time not, unfortunately. It is a case that, personally, I find offensive all the time, because I like to think that the news is really news, but it isn't. It's sensationalism, it's marketing, and the kinds of things that you see that are attributed to Our elected officials, even the upstanding Governor Owens, of whom you are a large fan, are frequently incorrect. We get sound bites, we get interpretations, we get words that are supposed to represent what it is that they said, and it tends not to be accurate in most instances. We see that even here in the local paper. I've read now 2 or 3 times that the President of the United States has usurped the congressional power to declare war. Well, in point of fact, that didn't really happen. The Congress took a vote. I think that the vote was overwhelming on both sides of the aisle.
Hillary voted to sell out.
Even Hillary. So my concern here would be that it's bad enough in normal times when what you have are news programs that pretty much consist of which Hollywood star is doing what to whom, and you've got sports figures who reject multi-million-dollar contracts because they don't like the color of their hat, and then you've got a weather guy who gets up to tell us something that isn't going to happen. Here, it's a little more serious. The country is poised on the brink of war, and it is important, I think, that we pay attention, even up here at 9 or 10,000 feet. We all know people for whom this is going to have a tremendous effect, personally. And if indeed what we are going to do is to take our information from the sound bites that we see, even on the national media, we are going to be misled. For heaven's sake, go to the websites, go to PBS if you need to. Most of the major news organizations have link-ups where you can see the actual speech, the actual presentation. Let's find out what people actually said, not what some guy in a nice suit and a good haircut told us they said.
Or go to the BBC News Service. But more than anything else, you can trust being an RSN. Kelly Hart. I heard Jim Jessup. Kelly Hart, all right. The state lawmakers looked to trim $870 million from the budget. This is after already paring down $850 million. Does the Republican-controlled Capitol really think they can do this without seriously diminishing the health and welfare of our citizens? And isn't it time to start to look at putting on the ballot an initiative so we can raise taxes, so we can provide the needed services that we've come to expect and actually are necessary?
Answer your first question, no, we don't expect that we're going to get out of this without affecting some people, many people in some way. And that's exactly why. The JBC will do all they can to minimize the effects on the people of Colorado. Answer your second question, no, it's not time to start raising taxes. Like I said before, anything's going to go on the ballot anyway.
Right.
If we do want long-term solutions, don't raise taxes and down economic time. That's counterintuitive in my mind. I know it's logical to you. But I think what we need to do is, obviously I'm a big fan of the taxpayer bill rights saver, but you also have Amendment 23, you also have the Gallagher Amendment, and you also have, I think it was referendum or something about property tax credits for these seniors. I think any of those by themselves are okay, but when you combine all 4 of them, we have a problem. Now, personally, I'd like to leave saver alone and take a look at the other 3. But that's, I think, where the long-term solutions are going to be coming from.
All right. Kelly Hart from the State Senate Republican, Doug Malkan from the cell of the Green Party. My country, right or wrong? Doug, I'm going to ask you this. We've had a lot of people around the world protesting the eventual, we all know, eventual war in Iraq. Now, is opposing the war unpatriotic? Is it diminishing the country's, the country's fervor in supporting our troops? And does it make a difference in Bush listening, and should he?
Well, was opposing the Vietnam War unpatriotic, was protesting that war unpatriotic? People were demonized at the time in the 60s. Now, of course, we realize the Vietnam War was wrong morally, it was bad for the country, and we feel this war is too. Voicing dissent against government policies is what this country was founded on. If we lose that right, we're no better than Saudi Arabia, Iran, or Iraq. What is patriotic is supporting alternative energy. This push to make us more dependent on oil, in my mind, is what's unpatriotic.
All right. We take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll preview the website. Revisit some subjects that don't go away. You're watching Summit Speak Out. Welcome back to Summit Speak Out. A great American, Chairman Mao said, if you're either part of the problem, you're part of the solution. Actually, he wasn't a great American. If you'd like to make an appearance, you offer a subject, a topic, please drop us a line or even send some hate mail to Kelly Hart. Summit Speak Out at rsn.com. So I'm going to speak out one word at rsn.com. And if you'd like to see Kelly's party line, www.coloradosenate.com. And that's the party line of his tribe. Doug Malkan from the Green Party, Kelly Hart from the State Senate Republican, Jim Just from the Summit Times. Open mic night next Sunday at his Mountain Job establishment. Two first for lunch. What is it?
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock. John Crowder's playing some music, and